Delhi's first statement in the UN Security Council, UNSC, did not name any country directly, but it said it regretted that calls from the international community to give diplomacy and dialogue a chance had not been heeded. It, however, stopped short of criticizing Russia. And before the UNSC voted on a draft UN resolution to condemn the invasion, Delhi faced calls from Russia, the US, and Ukraine to do the right thing. Ukraine and Russia even issued public appeals for Delhi to take a clear stand. India chose to abstain from the vote, but a careful reading of its statement suggests that it did go a step further and indirectly asked Moscow to respect international law. India talked about the importance of the UN Charter, international law, and respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of states, adding that all member states need to honor these principles in finding a constructive way forward. But India's decision to abstain raised questions, particularly in the West, over whether the world's largest democracy should have taken a clearer stand. Moreover, it's hard for Delhi to overlook decades of history of diplomatic cooperation with Russia on several issues. Moscow has vetoed UNSC resolutions over disputed Kashmir in the past to help India keep it a bilateral issue. In this context, India appears to be following its famed strategy of non-alignment and promoting dialogue to resolve issues. India also has the tough task of trying to evacuate 20,000 citizens, mostly students, from Ukraine. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken to Russian President Vladimir Putin, and Foreign Minister Subramanyam Jaishankar has held talks with officials in Washington. Mr. Modi has also held talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. But if Washington and its European allies continue to impose severe sanctions on Russia, India may find it tough to continue doing business with Moscow. The US seems to understand India's position at the moment, but there are no guarantees it will continue to do so. When US President Joe Biden was recently asked about India's stand, he didn't give a definitive answer. "We are going to have consultations with India over Ukraine. We haven't resolved that fully," he said. The issue of sanctions over the purchase of the S-400 still loom. The Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act, CASA, was introduced in 2017 to target Russia, Iran, and North Korea with economic and political sanctions. It also prohibits any country from signing defense deals with these nations. Washington had not promised any waiver even before Russia invaded Ukraine, and experts believe that the issue could become a bargaining chip between India and the US. Meanwhile, Moscow could use its own pressure points, which include strengthening ties with India's arch-rival Pakistan if it sees a change in Delhi's strategy. Russia has accepted India's growing ties with the US in the past 2 decades, but Ukraine is a red line that it wouldn't want Delhi to cross.